So, guys, today I want to talk about why you should start NoFap. Now, I've been on NoFap for a year or so, and I've seen, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. I've seen the other side. It's a better life in general. I was fat, depressed, ugly, unattractive. I masturbated. I masturbated to people and certain icks and that was quite grim, quite disgusting. And I remember the feeling of normality to it. I would jack off to something that at the time I thought was, oh, that's completely fine, but I realized that now I have a more clear head and I've moved on and I've grown as a person. But I look back and I think, fucking hell! Imagine if I stayed on that route. I could have been locked up. I could have been a failure. I could have been the stereotype with the guy living in his mother's basement. I could have been that fat slob playing video games with little kids, talking to little kids, and that could have easily have happened if I just kept masturbating, if I kept feeding into my addiction of porn. But when I quit masturbation and begun on NoFap, I started to achieve things. I started to achieve things in the gym, business, relationships, investments, all these things. And I grew as a person, but I kind of wouldn't have grown this much if I continued on NoFap, because you're not motivated, you're not disciplined, and everything's much harder when you're fapping. And you can think effectively. I think you can perform at a higher level. When I play sports, I play rugby. I find that when I'm not masturbating or fapping, I perform at a higher level. I joined rugby when I did watch porn, really bad porn, and I would play alright, but when I, got onto semen retention and started doing NoFap, I perform at such a level that I'm an all-round player. I'm a good player. I'm a top player in the team. I show that. I show aggression. I show progression, because I'm able to progress as a player. I'm able to train all the time. I have the motivation and discipline to train at a higher level and improve at a higher rate. That if I did masturbate, I wouldn't be able to perform at that level. I wouldn't be able to achieve the things in the sport that I am able to do. If I continued to masturbate, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't have made this channel. I wouldn't have been trying to teach you guys why you should quit. I would still be just like you. And I look back and it was only a year or so ago that I was in the same boat. I didn't know that it was a bad thing. I didn't know that I was sick in the head. I didn't know that I was, not living my life the way I should have. And that's why I really need to reiterate the point that it will fuck you up. It will screw your life over. Like I said, I look back and I think, fucking hell, I could have been ruined. But I wasn't, and I'm not. And I'm going in the direction of my life that will hopefully, I say hopefully, it will lead me to success. And I want you to feel that self-belief in yourself, because I know that there are times where you won't have that, and those times are usually when you are masturbating, when you fap. So you can think effectively. You're not going to be acting emotionally. You're going to think at a high level for a consistent amount of time. I found post relapse, I was able to think, productively at times, but because I was acting emotionally most of the time, I wouldn't be able to really focus and think clearly and make critical decisions. And I couldn't attract women. I know every single person who masturbates cannot attract women. And if they can, they're maybe not very feminine women. They are not very high quality women. They are not kind of mentally okay. And I'm not trying to say, not all girls are like, I like that, but those kind of relationships don't last long where the guy still masturbates. I know a lot of people who cannot attract any woman whatsoever. They think, oh, what are you on about? You can't talk to girls. When, you literally see me every day. I'm talking to a woman, I'm getting her number, I'm going on dates. While they're still jacking off, watching Reddit, watching, fucking Sophie Rain or those types of girls, bops that my friend said they're called now, bops. He's watching the bops on TikTok and jacking off to them. You can, if you are busting your nut to women all the time, you're not going to be able to attract women because you're going to be so hell bent on, busting your load to the girl jerking out or the girl shaking her ass, that you're not going to actually appreciate women for women. As soon as I quit masturbation and porn, I realized that that the women around me are pure, they're feminine, they're beautiful, and I can take advantage of that. And I'm not saying take advantage of them, I'm saying I can take advantage of that opportunity, because I'm never going to meet these women again in my life probably. So if I, use the time I have with them, so let's say the women I meet, maybe get their number, maybe women I see all the time, if I can really learn and improve from that, I will be so much more better off. But I can't do that if I still fap. I don't think properly. I was watching a play, and one of the girls in there was, okay, she was fairly attractive, but she was younger, and she was, not very developed, and I look at that, and I think, why the fuck, how did my brain, fantasize or sexualize her? When I wouldn't masturbate, I wouldn't think any more highly of her than I would myself. But because I masturbated, I think, oh, she's amazing, she's hot, I want to fuck her. And that's the problem with porn. You sexualize women, and women that you normally wouldn't even give this time of day. But because you masturbate, because you watch porn, your brain's all fucked up, and you are unable to think productively, you're unable to think effectively. So you can't, attract the women that you like. You wouldn't attract the woman that you deserve. That's just from masturbating. That's just from porn. And I can remember, there's so many occasions where I'd fall in love with, or like a girl, sexualize a girl, that if I didn't masturbate, if I thought clearly, I wouldn't give the time of day to. So there's that. And I also think that masturbation and pornography is creating more pedophiles. More people are into child porn or texting little children. It's not because, well, maybe they are sick in the head, but I think also a good portion of that is from masturbation and pornography because it conditions your brain into sexualizing. And let's say you stumble across child porn, you get into that, but not only are you doing something that's very illegal, but you're probably going to get used to that, and you're probably going to get sexually turned on by that. And I think that's maybe why we're seeing a rise in pedophiles and these kind of people. And that is a very, very big problem. So quitting masturbation, quitting pornography might prevent you from ending up in jail. And that is very powerful. And I look back and I think, I'm quite young. I started watching porn and jacking off at a very young age, and watched explicit content, very fucking bashed up content, very bashed up porn, abusive shit, that if I continued down that path, I definitely would have had a bad life, I think. So I think that mentally it fucks you up. It gets you turned on by things that, if I watch porn now, watch the shit I used to watch, I would sit there thinking, what the fuck am I watching? And click off because I know better. But I also think it makes men infertile, because we're seeing that people are trying to eradicate men and the need for sperm with these bone marrow babies, I've heard. But men are, more and more over the next 100 years are becoming more and more extinct. They're less likely to be born. And, that's a bad thing. But also, although there's a decrease in men, there's also an increase in infertileness. I don't know. Because more men are becoming infertile because they, like I said, they stimulate themselves to very unrealistic and graphic pornography. And when they actually get with a woman, they're not actually turned on. They're not actually having an erection. I've heard of many stories of people who have been with women and not been able to actually sexually produce with her because he or her, well, he, not her, he has, been stimulated to, he's been conditioned to be stimulated by that kind of pornography that is not realistic, that can't necessarily be recreated. You can't have that level of kind of niche, let's say. You can't have that niche. So let's say you're doing was it bondage, with they tie you up. You're not going to get that with a normal woman. So if you're kind of into that, you're not going to maybe ejaculate. You might not even you won't have an erection. Men are becoming infertile because they're getting conditioned into these certain categories of porn. It's a big problem. I remember that when I was really into porn, or when I was really into my addiction, I would always be, watching the same porn, or watching even more intense porn than the last. Be watching weird shit like, where they jack off in the woman's face and all that kind of weird shit. And that's what would turn me on. That's the only thing that would turn me on. And it's really fucking, it's really mentally tough to think about that. If I continued down that path, I probably would have ended up like everyone else. I would have been infertile. Now, yes, you can uncondition yourself to become refertile. So it's not like this will last forever unless, I don't know, maybe I need to research this and have a look into it, but maybe you will become permanently infertile, but I'm not sure it is permanent. But yeah, you can uncondition yourself through NoFap. that's the only way I think you can uncondition yourself from becoming infertile. It took me a long, long time to, undo these these this conditioning, to like undo my conditioning to certain pornography categories and actresses and or porn stars. I think porn stars, like I remember there was loads of porn stars that that would turn me on, so I'd search up so and so. I think one was Lana Rhodes. I remember Lana Rhodes because of Logan Paul. But those I would be looking for Lana Rhodes. I'd be looking for so and so, and this gets you attached to these types of women or to these specific women. So it means when you see a normal woman, you're just not sexually stimulated. When I'm with a woman, I'm more sexually stimulated. It's easier for me to get sexually stimulated. Now when I see a woman, I don't think fucked up things about her because I don't watch porn, and I also have my standards now. But if I am with a woman, then I'm still able to be sexually stimulated. So that's the thing. It makes you infertile. It makes you not think clearly, and it's a very messed up thing to do. Now there's obviously this thing where people are saying, oh, you can still masturbate once a week or this or that. I hear that all the time. I don't really fucking care. I'm not going to masturbate. Simple as that, because if you just do it, you're going to get addicted to it. It's like any other thing. If you smoke, you're eventually going to get addicted to smoking. So just don't do it. Don't masturbate. By all means, have sex, but don't masturbate. And if you masturbate consistently, if you're addicted to pornography, the chances are you can't get with a woman anyway. No offense, but at the moment you can't get with a woman. So I hope this kind of gives you a bit of motivation to not do it. Now, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, if you want to see more kind of content like this where I can kind of help you guys out. And if you'd like to overcome your addiction, maybe you're struggling with your addiction like I was, you are able to go to the first link in the description where you can buy my course, where I can help you with the best kind of advice I can give you to overcome your addiction in a much faster window than I did. All the tips and the tricks that I used to overcome porn and masturbation. And I think that if you really want to overcome your addiction in a fast time period and be able to really start achieving things, I think it's crucial for you to check it out. Now, that's it from me, guys. Have a good day.